You know who storms the field? Kansas storms the field. Stay behind in the stands where you belong.
A panel of Louisiana sports experts giving you the hot takes all season long. Michael Cauble, Matt Moscona, and Shea Dixon. This is Sports Takeover.
Good evening and welcome into Sports Takeover. I'm Michael Cauble, joined by Matt Moscona of After Further Review and Shea Dixon of On3.com, the Bengal Tiger. We're chopping up an LSU victory this week, and of course, it wasn't exactly pretty, but I guess we're getting accustomed to that right now, right? The LSU defense doing just enough to help secure the victory, and once again, the Tiger offense really running away with it. And guys, that's what we'll start with today, this Tiger offense. LSU certainly is rolling. Jayden Daniels, the conductor, and he is playing some fine music right now. Very little that this guy cannot do, and this week he did it while injured. A gutsy, gritty performance. Matt, we'll start with you. Your thoughts on the quarterback that Jayden Daniels is evolving into?
It's very reminiscent of what we saw with Mettenberger in his second year, Burrow in his second year. You get a veteran quarterback that's played a lot of football, gets comfortable in an offense, a lot of talent around him, and you're seeing the fruits of that. Jayden Daniels is pacing to do something that only Joe Burrow has bested in his entire LSU career. There's never been a 4,000-yard passer. Burrow threw for 5,000. No one else had gone above 3. So Jayden Daniels pacing to do something that's only been bested by literally the best season in the history of the program.
You know, Brian Kelly talked about they can't have Jayden Daniels be the leading rusher on this team and be successful. He has proven that he is a pocket quarterback. He's able to get the ball down the field. 259 yards passing on 15 of 21. Just again, his completion percentage astronomical. 3 touchdowns, but he did do it with his legs. Shea, you talked to Coach Kelly yesterday and asked him about the progress that Jayden's made throughout this year. Coach Kelly talked about some of the things that he worked on during the offseason.
He fixed a lot of these things, he was not progressing, through his reads. He was coming off them too soon. He wasn't staying in the pocket. He wasn't being patient. He was doing some of the things that get you 80 yards throwing it. And so he's fixed a lot of those things and has put him in a position now where, he's one of the top, if not the top quarterback production-wise in the country. So I think we gave him a good plan. I think Joe Sloan's done a great job. Mike's done a great job of putting him in a really good position. And then I think he's gone out and he's made the adjustments and made the improvements.
Is it perfect? No, but it's pretty darn close. Shea, what have you seen in Jayden's improvements?
I know that Michael Penix at Washington didn't play this week, but Jayden now has more total yards than anybody in the country. He's just short of Caleb Williams in terms of total touchdowns. This is what we're seeing, guys. Jayden Daniels left high school. I know he was out of sight, out of mind for everyone, given he was a West Coast kid. He goes to Arizona State. He was the #1 dual-threat quarterback in the country for a reason. He looks like it. He can do it with his legs. He can do it with his arms, and Matt's right. In 2019, we would have sat up here, we did, and said, these records will never even be close to being touched. 3 years later, quarterback's about to take that number. Malik Neighbors about to average 1,400 yards on the year. Brian Thomas pacing for 20 touchdowns.
And they have a run game. It is the complete package, really. And at the front of that is Jayden and some of the things that his coach is talking about, making those progressions, staying in the pocket. But some of the things you don't see, Brian Kelly alluded those as well.
Some of the things that you don't see is ripping some throws, under duress. And I think that those are the big things that stand out to me is, he hit a seam ball late in the game. Even the touchdown to Neighbors that he threw that was wide open. We had a freshman center in there, and, they overloaded that A-gap, and there was pressure, and he had to move and slide, if you remember, and he was under duress, and he threw that on the move. That was just the nuances that a lot of people may not see. But I see those things, and his quarterback coach and the offensive coordinator see the little things that he's doing under duress or under pressure or getting hit after he throws, a very accurate ball that are starting to separate him from good to great.
Let's talk about some of those great ones. Shea, you just alluded to a couple of them right there at the top. These are your current Heisman odds from BetMGM. Michael Penix and Caleb Williams right at the top. But Jayden Daniels started, I think, the season at 15-1. He's dropped back to 30-1 after that FSU opener. But still some pretty elite company. It's interesting that all of the top odds are quarterbacks when you take a look at them. Guys, you got a dark horse or a favorite in this race?
I would only say that 2015 taught us with Leonard Fournette would caution anybody to inscribe a name on the Heisman before you get to middle or end of November. There's a lot of football to be played. It's hard to imagine Jayden winning it with 2 losses. It would have to be something like when RG3 won it as a 3-loss team, when he had gaudy stats, and there wasn't another obvious choice. That may be what plays in Jayden's favor, but a long way to go.
I think what you have to watch here is nobody's ever repeated. So Caleb Williams has that kind of, I don't know if you call it stacked against him, but he's playing excellent again this year. Those top 3 guys in that list all play in the same division, or I should say same conference. So we'll see if they don't start to doubt a loss, 2 losses, as you get into the Oklahomas of the world, FSUs, UNCs. That's how Jayden moves up this list. He is sitting at the bottom of that because of what Matt and us have been saying, 2 losses. That's the only reason.
Yeah, and I think it's unfortunate too because when you do the comp numbers against Caleb Williams, Jayden's right there, if not better. And so it's one of those situations where who's the better competition
against the better schedule?
Yeah, you know, as a Heisman voter, that's what I look at. I mean, who do you play, and how do you do against those teams? And so you know, you really do have to look at it. But I don't think enough of the voters do.
I think we need to just pause real quick and say that a year ago, people were saying, "Man, Jayden, you won him a lot of games, but boy, does he need to take all these steps this offseason." Now we're sitting here saying, I mean, him and Caleb Williams, that's right there.
I mean, that's
there.
a good conversation.
He's the best. Caleb Williams is the best quarterback that's come through college football in a number of years.
Yeah.
So this is big time for Jayden Daniels.
To Matt's point, though, against some of the weakest competition or weakest defenses, and again in the Big 12, same story. But we're seeing that a little bit in the SEC with some of these defenses take a dip. The one thing that's impressed me the most about Jayden Daniels, though, is his toughness and his willingness to really just mix it up and get in there. And he's given up the body a number of times. That certainly happened this week. Coach Kelly updated his health concerns after taking a big and late hit in that game against Missouri.
I think our biggest concern was, just overall soreness. He got hit a number of times. It was a physical game, but, he checked out well yesterday. He was in the film room this morning, got his normal film study in around 5:30 this morning, and was with the trainers this morning, and he'll be full go for practice on Tuesday.
A tough cookie. Your thoughts on the grit of Jayden?
Maybe the most impressive thing is the play that we've shown where it's 3rd and 5 and he hurdles the man at the line of scrimmage. That was a draw. A quarterback with bum ribs on a 3rd and 5, they call a quarterback draw. It wasn't just like he was scrambling out of necessity. He was saying, give me the ball and let me go run for this in those moments, because that's such an important dynamic of this offense. Dude has shown he is everything to this team.
Put the team on his shoulders, and he's going to take them either with his arm or with his legs. Did you have something to say?
I got a text from a staffer after the game that said, my ribs hurt from watching Jayden do that. I felt the same. It was...
Look, early in the game, he's got to give the ball up. RG3 was tough to listen to 2 weeks in a row, I know, but he was making a good point about on those read options, let your running back take the load there and take the hits. And Logan Diggs has certainly proved that he is more than capable of doing it. 2 weeks in a row now, some really good running from Logan Diggs. This offensive line and Diggs really proving to be a great complement to Jayden in that passing attack.
Logan has just been really physical, really reliable in all areas, catching the football, picking up protections, and getting us the tough yardage when we need it. As you know, we've kept ourselves in some really good 3rd down situations, extremely manageable 3rd down situations. I think we lead the country in 3rd down conversions, 56%. A lot of that is tough yardage running, and Logan's just been really good at that. So, to answer your question, I don't know that we had an exact formula in terms of how it was going to look. And no, you can't keep all of them happy, but they have roles. They want to be part of our football team, and we'll just have to see where it goes as the season progresses.
I don't care about keeping anybody happy other than Logan Diggs right now in that running game. You can get some guys some touches late in games if you need to, but he is the man. And Matt, you were commenting yesterday that they're doing all of this with their 3rd string center.
It's pretty incredible. Considering they played 3 centers in that football game. I mean, Charles Turner goes out, Marlon Martinez comes in, can't handle snaps, and they put DJ Chester in. Keep in mind, they put DJ Chester in when LSU was down 5 on the road against a ranked opponent, plays going nuts, and you put a true freshman center in that ball game. That's a heck of a lot of trust in that kid.
Either out of necessity or need, they are playing freshmen. We're going to talk about some freshmen on the defensive side of the ball when we come back.
Sports Takeover will return after these messages. Now, back to Sports Takeover.
Here's the shotgun snap. Looking left. Throws. Intercepted at about the 16-yard line. Taking it away, Major Burns. It's a pick six. Touchdown, Fighting Tigers. With 34 seconds remaining. And that will do it.
Oh, boys, it's not been often that we've got to hear the velvety voice of Chris Blair talk about a defensive play, but they did do just enough this week in LSU's 49-39 victory over Missouri. Welcome back to Sports Takeover. Matt Moscona, Shea Dixon, Michael Cauble joining you now. And really, the Tigers doing a great job of getting the stops they needed. We've said they don't have to be great. They don't even have to be good. You can be average, but just give us 1 to 2 more stops, and this LSU defense was able to do that as they made some plays throughout the course of the second half of this. And really an interception early kind of setting the tone. Harold Perkins, you wanted him to be the playmaker. Here he is, dropping in coverage and going and being athletic and getting that interception. Still pains me to watch Major Burns just kind of watch that play happen, because if the receiver caught it, oh my gosh, what was going to happen with that one? But the defense doing enough. And fellas, your thoughts, getting everybody involved. Here we are seeing Mason Smith. Brian Kelly said it might have been his best game.
Might have been Perkins' best game too. So that's 2 of your most important pieces on defense having their best game so far. I thought was massive. Look, it's linear, right? Any small improvements in the right direction count. And you see it in a game like this. You hold Missouri to 14 in the second half. You actually get some stops, and you'll win the football game. And some people say, man, giving up 14 points to Missouri in the second half, that's not good enough. Hey, if you average 28 points a game on defense, you will win every single game you're in this year.
I believe someone named Matt Moscona on After Further Review literally said that yesterday. Just give up a touchdown, a quarter, and you guys can beat everybody that you have on your schedule.
You allowed 2 scoring possessions of the 6 Missouri possessions in the second half. You gave up a lot of yards, but in moments where you had to make a play, you did. You blocked the field goal in the first possession. We saw that the Major Burns pick 6. But if this defense does turn it around, I think we'll point to 2 things. The defensive line obviously going to a 4 down, which plays to Mason Smith's strengths. That's undeniable. You saw it. But the Harold Perkins interception, because keep in mind, Missouri, coming off the Ole Miss game where LSU didn't get a stop in the second half, they scored on 9 of their 12 possessions. Missouri, on their first 3 possessions, touchdown, touchdown, touchdown. You're down 22-7 and feeling as bad as you possibly can. The Harold Perkins interception is what allowed you to turn that game around. If they manage to do anything defensively heretofore, I think we'll look at that Perkins interception and say that was the moment where they at least recalibrated and got pointed in the right direction.
Coach Kelly talked about it yesterday, just maybe turning the corner here in the second half of their season.
There's some light there at the end of the tunnel for our defense. We feel like the progress that was made up front is going to be sustainable. We're going to have to make some more progress on the back end of our defense. We've got to go compete for some balls that we think that were out there for us to get. I think we are going to get better because of the experience that what Weeks is getting at the linebacker position. He's just getting more reps and more time out there. And I think we found a position that we're comfortable with now with Harold Perkins in terms of, it doesn't have to change from week to week with a new teaching progression.
Let's take a look at, you guys talked about it, Shea, just allowing 14 points in the second half. This is the first half of Missouri on the left-hand side, second half on the right-hand side. And you can see LSU improving pretty much across the board. Points obviously down, passing yards down, rushing yards, 88 yards in the second half, but 52 of them, I think, were on that one play that we saw where Sage Ryan went for the strip and not the tackle. And on third down, I think that's the biggest key, right? You're just getting off the field. LSU finally able to get those stops, whether it be through interceptions or blocked field goals, missed field goals, settling for field goal attempts. The Tigers defense finally able to do what they did. And Matt, you brought up an interesting point about the defensive front and the defensive line, I guess, or front 7. And I just can't help but think about Pete Jenkins coming in and having an immediate impact.
The yards per play is atrocious either way.
Yeah.
I loved it. I love the graphic of a thumbs up for 250 yards and 7.1 yards per play that'll do. We'll take it.
Yeah, it's good.
It's
where we are,
But it illustrates the point. This is never going to be a defense that we expect an LSU defense to look like. Can you just get stops? LSU forced a 3 and out where Harold Perkins had a TFL. It's third down. Mason Smith comes up with a sack. Can you just get – you're going to give up yards. You're going to give up points. Can you just get enough stops to give the ball back to this offense? Because nobody is going to stop this LSU offense from scoring 40. You just can't give up 55.
Give up 35, and you win 42-35 every week. You know, it's possible. Shay, you're about to say something.
No, I was just.
Okay, great.
I like the thumbs up graphic there on the
Still digging the
14
graphics.
points.
And don't rush the field.
And don't rush the field, Missouri, you losers. My son
Idiots.
thought that was snow in the end zone.
No, those are rocks.
How
They
did
sit
you
on
make
rocks.
your students sit on rocks?
sit
throughout
on
But
the
it
whole
looks
game?
cool. It does look like snow.
No,
It's
it
something.
doesn't. Missouri, get out of our league. You don't belong. Leave now,
Kick
please.
rocks, literally.
Jerks.
Yeah, you talked about playing DJ Chester in a need moment. Well, certainly they have done that in the secondary. Turned a freshman to play as well.
Wow. Get out of here, Missouri. Nobody wants you. You were supposed to come in and be the basketball school. You stink at that too. What have you done? Nothing. Except bring cold weather games to our league. Go away.
Can we at least get
Losers.
one of those crummy teams in the West? I mean, Vandy and
Well, divisions
Missouri
are going
in the
away
East,
next year. It doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter. All right, can we get back on track and talk
No.
about the youngsters in the secondary?
Maybe.
Ryan Yates stepping up and filling the need, just kind of a forebearer of the future of what is coming with this Tiger secondary.
His next step is playing with a little bit more aggressiveness and confidence. He's a really good player. We want to have him let it go and play maybe a little bit on the edge a little bit more. I mean, he doesn't want to make a mistake, and I told him, I said, it's okay, just go play. But he's a young player, and he wants to be perfect, and it's nice to have a true freshman in there that is so conscious about all the little things, but I think he's just got to go play and let it happen. But he's the next man up in the nickel situation for us.
All right, point of clarification. I combined two words there, harbinger and forebearer. But
Hey, Forberinger.
Forberinger.
It's your show. Do what
Forberinger
you want,
Road
man.
is off of Highland, I believe. When we
Bunch of LSU grads up here, man. I'll tell you what.
we can go to Missouri, that's for sure.
No, we did not.
Let's talk about Yates. The interesting thing that I thought Brian Kelly there said, he's focused on the details. And to me, that is the paradigm shift that I think you're seeing with this team. You're seeing guys that may not be the most athletic, may not be the most physical, may not be the most experienced, but they have the mindset and the knowledge to get to the field. You're seeing it in Whitweeks. You're seeing it in Yates. I think you're seeing the Brian Kelly Notre Dame, formula kind of leak its way into LSU. You guys picking up on any of that?
Ryan Yates came out of Denton in high school, one of the most well-coached teams in Texas, and he talked about it in his recruitment. He played in this defense in high school, so it's no surprise to me that he's out there early and they're trusting him for more and more snaps. They did it on the road at State. They did it on the road at Ole Miss. They did it on the road now at Missouri. I think he got 20 snaps, but the reality remains that Sam and Burns, not the golfer, are going to be your two top safeties. They both had 70-something snaps this weekend. So
I wouldn't be surprised if we do start to see that shift if Yates continues to play more and improve. Yates really, against Mississippi State in the dime package is when we started to see him, and they'd put Womack at that left end spot when they would go dime. And then Yates had the big pass breakup on the fourth down against Ole Miss. He's made his presence felt in moments. It's just an experience thing, kind of like with Whitweeks.
All right, when we come back, we're handing out report cards. We're at the midway point. You'll get your progress report on this LSU Tiger football team next.
Sports Takeover will return after these messages. Now, back to Sports Takeover.
It's hard for us to see how those are missed, but maybe the officials look at me and say, how can you not, stop outside zone? So, I mean, maybe they look at it the same way. I don't know, so maybe I got to put myself in their shoes, but you would think you could see a guy that's right in front of you moving, but I guess not.
I guess not. I like Brian
that was
Kelly's.
my favorite Brian Kelly joke of the
Yeah,
year.
Brian Kelly's deadpans I think are pretty good. Yeah, the Columbia.
I can give up on that one. That one was good.
That was good.
Self-deprecating humor is what I appreciate.
It's always our best, right? Guys, we're at the midway point, 6 games in. A lot of those were on the road. LSU looking like they have a more favorable schedule at home, with 5 of the 6 being at home throughout the remainder of their schedule. Let's hand out some midterm grades. I guess, Matt, we'll start with you on offense. Hard to give him anything but an A+, right?
He gets offense?
Well, we're both going to. You're going to do offense. You're going to do offense, too.
Yes, there's no weaknesses on the offense. They're great. Everything is an A. Don't drop
concerns?
Don't drop as many passes if you really want to nitpick.
There you go.
But no, they're awesome. Everything's great.
Shay, your thoughts on the offense, A+?
The defense you want me to do now?
Do it.
Who gets special teams?
Hey, I'll give special teams. I mean, Jay Bramlett flipping the field right there at the end of the game when you needed it most. That was pretty critical.
Ramos hit a 48-yarder.
Ramos also missed a 28-yarder. Gregory Clayton didn't field a punt where they're punting out of their end zone and you start the possession of your 8-yard line because you don't field a punt. No, special teams still has a ways to go.
Yeah,
and they're improved.
They're improved because they were awful
last year.
Doesn't mean you're good.
It's going to be us talking about the defense next year. They're improved. The defense, anything other than a D for the defense?
F.
Yeah?
Are you kidding me?
Total failure?
I mean, they're the worst defense in the SEC.
They're showing some signs.
Brian Kelly said it best. They took a step. It wasn't plural. It wasn't. It was a step. And that counts. It does.
I'm grading on a curve.
A couple of stops won them this game.
That's right. I'm grading on a curve. We're back after this.
Sports Takeover will return after these messages. Now, back to Sports Takeover.
Welcome back, everybody. Here's your next 2 weeks of football inside Tiger Stadium. 6 o'clock Saturday night on ESPN. And then next week against Army, 6:30 in the Purple Top Shade. They've got a big-time recruit coming in Saturday.
They have a lot of big-time recruits coming in, but the biggest for this weekend's Auburn game, Bryce Underwood. Even the casual LSU fan might know the name. #1 quarterback in America, #1 overall player in America for next year. 5-star. Our recruiting analysts think he's better than Arch, better than all these guys who have finished maybe one of the best quarterbacks in the past decade. So he's noticing what they're doing on offense. Let's see if they can't put on an aerial show for him this weekend.
Shea said it's between LSU and Michigan. The guy is a Michigan native, though, so that is in their corner.
Not going to Missouri?
Not going to go sit on the rocks. You can catch Matt every afternoon, 3 to 6 on After Further Review. Shea Dixon on On3.com, the Bengal Tiger. Thanks, guys, for joining us. We'll do it again next week. Have a great week, everyone.